myself. We are on. It seems I'll just make sure it's up on YouTube. Get a minute or so and then we'll begin. Looks like it's up. I'm in the stream now. So, welcome everybody to round 8 of the SLR Gr.3 Group 3 League Season 2, and this is round 8 and we are at Brands Hatch today it's going to be an eagerly anticipated race. Obviously Tom for today can win the title if he finishes in the top 2, and with the field as short as it is today, that is highly possible for him. But there is a couple of people that could beat him today, namely Mokimix, who's been setting the pace in the practice, not in the practice, in the let's say his own practice. From what I hear, he's been setting some quite nice pace, but Tom can't match. Well, that's what I've heard on the grapevine. Benny hasn't done too much practice, so don't expect much from him, but for Tom not to win the championship, he has to win and hope Tom doesn't get in the top 2. So it might be a bit difficult for him, but with the shortage of drivers, it might be difficult. SLR will be replacing Koba at the AS Racing team with the driver changes, and Koba will be racing with the Phantom Banter team, but it doesn't look like he's here. But we've got 7 minutes to go, so he still could turn up, but he might not to be, judging by what we've seen. Sigsaw, it's been interesting to see what his pace is like at this point. Obviously joining an actual team, this is his first team he's joined. Before he raced in some very difficult cars. I think he was in the Ferrari or something along those lines. He's got 4 points this season. Really struggled, but in a couple of races he's shown that he's actually got some pace, so it'll be interesting to see if he can unlock his full potential with the AS Racing team. No Alan tonight for the AS Racing team as well. Same with Olit, with the fast delivery drivers. Both chopper cars are here. Both of Mr. Aldo and Mocky Meeks of the AC Racing team cars are here. From what I've heard from what the drivers have said a bit about the track, it's it's quite a narrow track so it'll be very difficult to overtake. So we'll see how much balls the drivers have got in this race. But obviously with the drivers that we've got today, we haven't got that many, so it'll be difficult for. It will be less difficult. It'll be easier to overtake if we can get a different view of Tom. The Phantom Banter no tripper. Got 6 or there. Missed him. There we go. He's had a bit of damage there. So it's going to be difficult for some of the drivers to keep it on track and keep it consistent. As you can see there, 6 or. Beanie, that's not great, is it? Well, cut away from that. Don't want to tarnish the name of my own team. But the chopper guys look fairly quick. It'd be interesting to see why Raoul is in all of this. But I think Mocky Meeks, he's got the best chance to win at his home Grand Prix as well. Apparently he only lives like 30 minutes away from the track. So it'd be interesting to see if he could take it to Tom and win his first Grand Prix of the season. Can't remember if he actually won one last season, so this might be his first ever win, but I think he did. But he's not very confident in his own ability, Malcolm. He thinks that he will. I need to answer. He thinks he'll bin it at some point. He's got the pace, but it'd be interesting to see if he will live up to the pace and not bottle it this time. Obviously it's a long race, so just keep it consistent, which is easier said than done, and hopefully you can get to win. at the end. Tom is sat on 60 points in the lead of the championship, and it's 42 to Benny, and I can't remember, I didn't look further back. But this track is very difficult to ride. The most difficult corners, as we see going into Hawthorne now, that is a very difficult corner. If you don't get slowed down, you're in trouble. But this corner here, as you can see, Black November take it just about right. You've got to turn in at the right point, you've got to brake at the right point and get turned in, and this one's very difficult. If you carry too much speed into either of them, you're in trouble and you're going to run wide and end up in the gravel. As you can see, Black November decides that the gravel, the grass is the best way around that corner, which obviously it's not. And coming through the last corner, carries so much speed, and then across the line. Also, turn 1 can be quite difficult, but the overtaking opportunities will be coming into the Druid hairpin if we can get a view on that. But coming into the paddock bend, I think that's what it's called if I remember correctly. And this is the Druid hairpin. Obviously, a hairpin it'd be one of the only opportunities to get a overtake done. All the rest of Turkey is quite tight. It's basically like Monaco without the walls, but the walls are there. Bit of history about the track before we start. Used to be used to F1 and up to 1986. Nigel Mansell won that Grand Prix from Nelson Piquet in the Williams, in the Honda Turbo, and then after that it was taken off the calendar for because it basically F1 outgrew the track. So Tom has sent me the grid for the race. So the grid will be as follows: Mr. Aldo will be on pole, Black November will be in second. So that'll be interesting because Black November looks his third quickest in a minute in this practice session. So that could be interesting to see if he can make something happen. Dory is in third. Real high finish start for him. Obviously, he's quite happy in his Subaru now after getting his first points last week. Mucky Mick's in fourth. I'm going to tip him to win this one. He's the fastest, and what is today. Obviously, Tom's here. So you can't underestimate how good Tom is. He's an absolute machine. So never discount him. But I think Mucky Mix may have the edge on him on pace-wise. So I'm going to say Mucky Mix is going to win this race. If I were going to edge my bets, Raoul 5th, Benny 6th, the two triple cars, Tom in 7th, and Skig in 8th. Obviously Skig wasn't here last week, so that's why he starts last. And obviously we've got quite a few people not here: F1J, Big Bad Bud, Ollie. I can't remember as well. It's Black November going to Narnia through Hawthorne there. And that will be the end of practice because it looks like everyone is ready to get started in the chat. Apparently Skig has gone fastest, but everyone's in the pits, so that's why. So it'll be interesting. I'm going to tip Mucky Mix. Obviously the Lancer is the best car to get off that grid. So Aldo, I'm going to say Aldo's going to take the early lead, but he won't be able to keep it. And he's going to drop back a bit. I don't think he'll have the pace, and I think slowly but surely Mucky Mix will reel him in. Black November, if we're going to predict the podium, I'm going to say Mucky Mix, Raoul and Tom. Not in that order. I'm going to say Mucky Mix, Raoul, Tom second, and then Raoul in third, in my opinion. So we'll have to just wait and see. Could be very interesting. And here we are, we're ready to get to the grid. And there's the cars. We've got a very short grid today, so the drama into turn 1 won't be as much. Hopefully everyone gets off the grid and we don't have to restart like we did last week. But here we go, as we're going to go to 5 red lights at the other side of that, but we're going to get the green light on this side. 2, 1. And it's lights out and away we go, and it looks like a very good start for Mr. Aldo. Black November looks like he's going back with Mucky Mix and making that early move like I said he would, and he's looking like he's going to try and aim to go 1-2 with his teammate, and it looks like there's a car gone round. I think it's Black November Oh no, it's Raudababa's stuck on the start, so we may get a restart here. Black November Jr.'s in the gravel, doing a... I don't quite know what he's doing, he's just rolling. Sixo is up to 6th, we've got Tom in 5th, Dory 4th. Mr. Aldo was leading. I mean, it was a great start for the AC Racing cars, but it looks like there's a restart due to Raudababa just stationing the grid, flashing his lights, so it looks like the restart will happen. This was very good for I think everyone's like backed out. Yeah. Just waiting for Mr. Aldo, I think. Yep, there we go. Unfortunately, we'll be getting a restart. Let's see if we can get the chat up, which I haven't been added up since the start of the stream. Get the media turn up. We're just gonna get Raul back in the lobby. I think he has a problem, and I don't really know. But hopefully we can get this race underway. Skiga's left the session. I'm gonna find out what. Oh, there he's back. So it looks like everybody's back now, and we can get underway. I think there was some slight issues to begin with. Just wait for Tom to reset the grid. We seem to always have problems at the start of this game. It's unfortunate, but it's just what it is. And we'll be getting underway. No, I don't want to watch a video. Getting underway shortly. As you can see, I told you the Lancer gets off the line quite well. Aldo got the lead. And then it was Mocky Meeks who got into second. There we go. Mocky Meeks got himself into second and managed to put a bit of pressure on Aldo. He would have put a bit of pressure on Aldo, because I know Mocky Meeks, they probably would have switched it as teammates. Right, really sorry about it, guys, but as you can see, Mocking Meats has made an absolute error and a half, and he's ended up at the back of the grid in 7th. In 8th, should I say. 6 has had a bit of an accident as well, and he's in 7th. Raoul is in 6th. I don't quite know what happened to him, to be honest. Benny made a mistake, and that's why he's in 5th behind Dory. Dory is hoping to make that move as quick as he can to try and get up to Tom, who's came into contact with Black November Jr. And it was Tom that came out west because he tapped. He was trying to make a move. They're trying to go side by side. I don't think Black November saw that, and they come into contact. I don't think any driver was at fault for that, but it was just a bit unfortunate. But Mr. Aldo is losing that lead rapidly as Black November Jr. looks like he's going to try and close that in and make that move in the Phantom Panther racing car. And Mucky Mix will be livid at the minute, but he's in last, and he'll be trying to make a move. As you can see, them 3 cars are really far behind. Benny makes his pit stop, and I think Tom has as well, as he's got a bit of damage. I think that's why he's trying to get it, so he don't lose any time. And maybe Benny has as well, I'm not sure. But Dory would be happy in 3rd at the minute. Black November and Aldo are going to go away now and fight away for the lead. Now we'll go get the display on. So Aldo leads from Black November, Dory in 3rd, Benny 4th, Tom in 5th, Raoul in 6th, Sig 7th, and Mucky Mix 8th, and that's our grid. Black November currently has the fastest lap of the race with 24.3. I expect that to fall as the race goes on. Obviously on low fuel, as you can see, Black November's going 1.2 seconds quicker on this lap alone. I think that's from when he came into contact with Tom. So Black November has the pace here to really mount a challenge. As you can see, he's really putting the pressure on Aldo now, as he's going down into the second of the 2 right-handers. As you can see, he's 1.1 seconds up on his lap time. Aldo will be feeling it now, as Black November is going to try and make that move into the last corner. As he knows he's a little bit too far back. Be a bit patient, we're a bit slipstream in that Beetle. It looks a lot more stable at the minute, but Aldo is holding his own at the minute and keeping the lead of the race as he sets the fastest lap, but then Black November sets a faster lap going into the paddock bend and now Druid's corner, and it looks like he's going to keep the lead for now, but he's going to close up all the time in the braking zone, and then on the acceleration Aldo will get the acceleration. Or will he? Because it looks like Black November has got the acceleration massively over Aldo. In fact, we're going to look back to Dory. Dory is doing okay at the minute. He's 10 seconds clear of Benny in 3rd. Benny looking to close the gap. He's ahead of Tom now due to his damage. So Tom's in a little bit of trouble right now. If he wants to win the championship today, he really needs to get the hammer down. Raoul de Babette in 6th. He isn't far behind Tom, and it'd be nice for him to close up. I think Raoul may have pit on lap 1, but I'm not 100% sure. Mucky Meeks, who's obviously pit, is 8 seconds behind Raoul and is setting the fastest lap of the race. He really needs to put the pressure on. And Sigsaw, the only AS racing car today, is in last place and is a mile off at the minute, which is unfortunate for him. But Aldo is still ahead of Black November. Black November really needs to make this move and make it quick so he can get away from the rest of the chasing pack. Mucky Mix set the fastest lap with 23.0, which is 4 tenths quicker than Black November. He needs a bit more than that. He needs over a second a lap, I would say, to make something happen. But a 23.6 there for Black November, who runs very wide into pit bend, but back on track. Mr. Aldo though keeps the lead, but this is as close as his home Grand Prix is going to get it on this. Both the British drivers are leading. Obviously there's yet to pit, and Dory is 6 seconds back, and Benny's closing up to Dory by about a second a lap at the minute. So you would imagine that he's trying to catch Black November, but also we've got to consider Tom in this, who's just set the fastest lap with 22.6. So Black November and Aldo really do need to get up the road. So it looks like Black November's dropping back just a little bit from Aldo now. It's gone up to 1.2 seconds, and it was at 1.4 tenths. So Black November's dropped back a bit. It'd be interesting to see if Black November would actually make the undercut or something of that effect to try and just get ahead of Aldo, or will he go longer than Aldo? We'll see now as they come around now. Who will any of them come into the pits? It looks like Aldo will be carrying on and so will Black November. So he's confident enough on the tyres at the minute that he can make something happen. But Gr.3 is closed in on this lap by 2 seconds or 1.5 seconds, something like that. So Gr.3 is really putting the foot down. But Benny's quicker than Gr.3, and Bradfather Tom's quicker than Benny and Gr.3. As we can see now, we're coming across the line. Will they set the fastest lap of the race so far? And Tom sets the fastest lap of the race, does he? Yes, a 21.7, blows the last fastest lap of the race out of the water. Mucky Mix will be looking for a recovery drive right now. He's 7 seconds off of Raoul, and he's just gone and did, I can't remember what lap he did. But it'd be interesting to see what tyres everyone's on. The only people that haven't stopped is Gr.3, Black November and Mr. Aldo. So they're yet to make their stops. If you look at the live timing, they're all on super softs right now, so they've just picked for super softs. So this looks more like a 2-stop race. As Black November goes into the gravel there, and that's what I was talking about earlier, about carrying too much speed into corners. And Black November's shown a prime example, and that lets Gr.3 close up a little bit on Black November. As you can see, it's now down under 3 seconds. And this could gift Aldo an absolute lead and a half, and he really needs to put the power down and get away now in the lead of this race. Will he pit? No, he won't. He's going to carry on. Black November, will he pit? Be interesting to see as he runs wide again and goes into gravel, and his own mistakes are costing him as Gr.3 goes into the pits and nearly overtakes him. So it'd be interesting to see if Gr.3 can jump Black November because of these mistakes that he keeps making. And he's let Aldo get a 10-second lead, which is nearly a pit stop in this game. And we're looking around 15 seconds, something like that, as Aldo goes purple in the first sector, or first split, as it's called in this game. And extends his lead to over 10 seconds. Black November will be kicking himself because he could have been there today, but he's in second. It's not a bad position. Benny's there, but Benny's pit already. So Benny is going to be interesting between Benny, Tom and Aldo. They're the three to watch, and that could be our podium today. Also, Dory comes out in 7th behind Mucky Mix, 4 seconds off of Mucky Mix. So after Mucky Mix pit early with a bit of damage into turn 1, he's really made his move, and he's got 5 seconds clear of Dory. So it'd be interesting to see where Black November comes out, because maybe Dory had a bit of damage or something like that. Black November probably will have a little bit with that incident with Tom. Aldo is he's not that, he doesn't look that quick, to be quite honest with you, but he doesn't really seem to go purple that often, as you can see by this lap time. Let's have a look what it is. It's a 23.9, I mean that's quite bad, to be honest, compared to what Tom set in and what everybody else set in. That's not great at all. It's lap 8 at the minute. Aldo is yet to pit, I think, unless I've missed it. I don't think I have missed it. Black November also. So everyone else is picked behind him. The likes of Benny, Tom, Raoul, Mucky Mix, who is closing in on Raoul slightly, but he needs a bit more than what he's getting at the minute. Benny and Black November Jr. are going to be getting very close and personal. If you can see that Tom, who can win the championship today if he gets in the top 2, getting a bit feisty on the curbs, but it would mean that Benny would have to win. So really the only hope that Benny's got is Mr. Aldo getting in second in between Tom and Benny in the minute, and it looks quite close as they both going purple all the time. Black November getting all over the shop there, and Mr. Aldo's been reeled in at the minute. He seems to have a couple of good laps and then a couple of bad laps, a couple of good laps and a couple of bad laps. But it'd be interesting to see if Aldo pits this time round, and he does. He comes into the pits 9 seconds into the lead. Will Black November come into the pits? As we're going to watch him now coming around the final corner, and I think Benny might take the lead of this race, because Black November doesn't actually pit. Aldo has, and he's dropped down to 4th at the minute. Be interesting to see if Aldo the end after this though. Down to 5th. He hasn't put any fuel in the car yet. He's away now actually. He's put the fuel in the car. He's got the super softs on. So that suggests to me that he might not be going to the end of this race. He's ahead of his teammate Mucky Mix by about 5 seconds. I'd expect Mucky Mix to try and close that. but it'd be interesting to see if Aldo goes to the end or not. The person I would look out for is, well, at the minute is Black November. Can he hold Benny up? Benny won't want him out much longer. He would like, ideally, for Black November to come into the pits this lap. Or even last lap would have been perfect for Benny, because he's got Tom setting fastest lap after fastest lap after fastest lap behind him. Benny has the pace. He just needs to hope that Black November just gets out of the way. But I talked about before the race that you've got to show big balls on tracks like this to get an overtake done, and it'd be interesting to see how big Benny's balls are in this race. It's 4 attempts off the fastest at the minute. It looks like Tom is reeling him in fairly quick. And will Black November pit? No, he carries on for another lap. How much fuel is in this Fanta Banter car? I mean, it's going forever. It seems like the Beetle can go a lot longer than other cars. Mind you, Tom pit quite early on. Because we've got 1, 2, 3 all in synchronisation. There's Tom. There's Black November runs wide there, and that allows Benny to close right up. But Black November won't want to give this lead away very easily indeed. And obviously Tom and Black November came together earlier on in the race, and it looks like Benny's going to go a clean ride round the outside of Black November. Will it make it stick? They're getting all up close and personal, but Benny makes the move right round the outside. What a move from Benny, and that shows big balls to me. It's fair to say that Benny's balls are quite big. It would be interesting to see if Tom will make the same risks on Black November, as Black November seems to be keeping up in the slipstream of Benny, but Black November getting a bit fishtailer into the first of the right-handers. As now Tom is right up against Black November, who goes wide, and Tom goes wide with him, but he overtakes him anyway, because Black November went the wider, and that allows Benny to get up the road just a little bit, to get a bit of relief for him. In terms of looking at other people, Mucky Mix has closed in on Mr. Aldo by about 1.5 seconds since we last looked. In some bits anyway, it's about a second now actually. We've got Raoul going past, we've got Black November in the pits. He should come out around, probably around Dory. So they're going to have their nice little battle again. Oh, there's another throw up. As Dory goes past, or does he? Dory's there, Black November's there, Dory's going to go around the outside with momentum. It'll be interesting to see if Dory can make a move now. It looks like Dory comes out just behind Black November Jr. As Black November goes wide into the hairpin, but obviously we'll get the better exit now because of that. Benny seems to be holding the lead right now. Raoul is in third. Mr. Aldo is in fourth, Mucky Mix in fifth, Black November sixth, Dory in seventh. He looks very feisty in that Subaru right now, as he's looking to make that move on Black November. The Subaru looking the far superior car at the minute. He's keeping with him. Be interesting to see if he can make a move. He's right up the gearbox of him. Obviously he's going to get the dirty air through here, and a bit of lag here and there, it's fair to say, on the spectator cam. And Black November loses it. Dory crashes into him, and that is costly for both, but Dory gets the position. Black November's in the wall, and this will help Skig, who's like a mile behind with, looks like quite a bit of damage himself. It'll be interesting if Black November pits again, but Dory won't be too happy that Black November just loses it in front of him. No fault of his own for Dory. Mucky Mix, there's another yellow flag, and it's Raoul de Baba who's gone wide. Is in the grass. I don't quite know how he's got there, but the two AC cars go straight past, and that's third and fourth. Or is it, as Raoul tries to hold it down the inside of Mucky Mix. Mucky Mix gets a superior traction round the outside and gets that position. Aldo is in third. It'd be interesting to see if they switch the cars. Mucky Mix on a charge to try and get Tom and Benny. As Benny looks like he's gonna, well, I'm not gonna say he looks like he's gonna win the race, but he's gonna do half decent. He wasn't too optimistic before the race started in his Porsche, but it looks like, it's fair to say that he's looking fairly, it's a fairly good position right now. Obviously he's 1.5 seconds ahead as Benny loses the car there. He ends up going sideways, and this has allowed Tom to can't get words out today. Close right up to Benny. Up to 3/10 now to Benny, and with a bit more slipstream, Tom will be able to try and make the move. But Benny obviously can make his car as wide as he likes when making his defence, and Tom into the paddock bend doesn't make that move. Now going into Druids, will it make a late move? Obviously it's famous, this Druids hairpin for the overtake of James Hunt on Niki Lauda in the 1976 British Gr.3. Obviously Tom didn't make that move on the German, but we have Mr. Aldo in third, Mocky Meeks in fourth. I'm surprised they haven't switched the cars by now. Mocky Meeks is clearly the faster driver. Aldo should be happy in his position right now, and I think he should be happy with P4. They should switch the cars, let Mocky Meeks have a go, at least trying to close the gap. We have Tom in second, Benny in third. It's fair to say that I know I keep going back to this battle instead of the front two, but the AC cars aren't working as a team right now, as it looks like Mocky Meeks is about to make the move. Is he brave enough? Not quite. He's not quite close enough. Benny manages to hold on for another lap. I'm expecting these two to be pitting again. I'm not sure about Aldo and that, but I don't think it really matters. It runs wide there, and Mocky Meeks seems to get past now, and it looks like Aldo's lost the car. I don't know if there's contact between Raul. I don't think there was. I think he just lost it on his own around the outside of that corner. It's very difficult to let people pass through there, and it's allowed Mocky Meeks and Raul past, and Aldo, who looks very promising at the start, 10 seconds in the lead, and now he's run wide again. Oh, that's unlucky. It's allowed him to... It's got him down now to P5. It looked very promising when he was 10 seconds in the lead, and now it looks anything but. Dory is in 6th, ahead of Black November Jr., who hasn't pit, to my knowledge. It doesn't look like he has. And Skig is only 14 seconds behind him now. So it'd be interesting to see if Skig can make his move. I mean, 14 seconds, it's possible. He just needs to pick up the pace a little bit. As we're going to go back to the lead, as Tom is right up Benny's gearbox right now. He'll be flashing. I'm surprised that Benny won't be flashing the headlights. He usually does. The chopper cars are known for flashing the headlights randomly in races, and I never found out the reason for that. It doesn't look like that's happening today. It looks like Benny's in full concentration right now, trying not to let Tom win this race and win the championship by winning it. And Tom will want to win this race and win the championship by winning the race. And going into the final corner, it doesn't look like Tom will be close enough to that, but looking at Mocky Meeks and Raul, it doesn't look like he's getting close to Mocky Meeks at the minute, so we're going to leave that battle. It looks like Mocky Meeks is actually pulling away from Raul right now, but we're going to stay with the leaders, with Benny and Tom. This is a nice camera. As you can see, the elevation changes in the track there as it goes up and down again. As Benny sets the fastest first sector of the race so far, and that means they can pull away from Tom a little bit. He's pulled away by about 3 or 4 tenths in that couple of sections, but Benny runs wide through there. Tom clips the curb and sets the fastest sector. So there's some fastest sectors going on here, but Mr. Aldo leaves the room. That's unfortunate. I don't really know why. Might have lost connection. Moves in 5th. You know, I don't think there was a lot wrong. But Black November's off again, and that allows Skig, who wants to pit again, has fell a lot back. He was a lot closer, I thought, to close up a little bit. Oh, doesn't it? 33 seconds. It was 14, I'm pretty sure. Dory's pulled away from both of them. Dory would be very happy with his 5th place right now, the Italian. Raul in 4th, Mocky Meeks, the Brit, in 3rd, Raul on his home ground, should I say. We've got Tom in 2nd, 17 seconds clear of Mocky Meeks. It looks like Tom and Benny are a little bit faster than Mocky Meeks at the minute. And Mocky Meeks, you've got to say that start cost him. He might be still carrying a little bit of damage, I'm not sure, because he did get clumped in the first corner when he span. I think he span on his own, to be honest. I'm not 100% sure, but look, Tom, Benny, 1, 2. This is the battle we need to be watching. Battle for the lead, battle for the championship. Benny really needs to the only thing they can do really is back him up in corners where he can't overtake, and hope that Mokimix can catch enough to overtake Tom, and then he's got half his chance of keeping his championship challenge alive. But at some point Tom will win this championship, I'm pretty sure. I mean, he's 2 points. Lovely Tom. He's pretty much 2 points away of winning it. I think, because he's 18 points clear of Benny. If he doesn't win it today, then he needs 2 points in the next race and he's won. Then he's 3 points in the next race and he's won. Wait. I may have got my I may have calculated this wrong. Right, let me have a look. Well, I've got half a chance as Benny comes into the pits. I think they are both two-stopping in this race, but I'm going to have a look at the standing sheet because I may have got this horribly wrong. There's a refueling. Mokimix is there. Benny is there. Will Mokimix be going to the end? That'd be an interesting thing actually, because that might be why Mokimix. Actually, no, Mokimix is pitting now, so that takes that one out of the equation. New set of tyres for Mokimix. It's definitely the two-stop for the guys. Tom is leading by 17 seconds to Benny, which seems quite a lot actually, not gonna lie. I don't know if that's unless Tom's doing an absolute blistering lap, I'm not sure. Maybe he'll be able to do the overcut on Benny. I'm gonna look at the sheet because I may have got this horribly wrong. GT League, but Benny is leading. I think it's going to be nip and tuck between Benny and Tom, if I was going to guess. So around 8 Brands Hatch. So if he gets 3 points, no, I'm right. If Tom wins today, I mean Tom's carrying on for another lap, and he's just pulling the advantage on. I think it's pretty similar, to be fair, between Benny and Tom. I'm pretty sure. No, I think I was right. There's the gap between Tom and Benny is quite static at the minute. Tom's setting the fastest lap. I think Benny's trying to Mokimix is closing the gap slightly. He's starting to make his move, I think, but it's a bit too late now, if he is. Black November Jr. is going around in 6th. 6 is getting out of the way for Benny. Be interesting to see if 6 can make a move on Black November. I mean, 26 seconds. I mean, it's coming down. I don't know if Black November's pit, but it was 33 and now it's 26. It might mean that Black November has made a mistake. But the Dory gap hasn't really changed, and Dory's been fairly consistent, so I won't really say that Dory's made any mistakes in this race. So obviously it was unfortunate that it come together with Black November early on in the race. Raoul's a further 12 seconds in front, who's now 4.5 seconds of Mokimix. Mokimix is setting some decent pace to get away from Raoul, but he's behind Benny by quite a bit. But it'd be interesting to see when come down by about a couple of tenths. But the gap is actually the same as it was like a couple of laps ago. So the overcut for Tom isn't really working unless Tom isn't doing the overcut and he's going to the end. I am not sure. I'll have a look at the tyres. You're all on racing super softs. Mokimix. If you look, his best lap is a 0.8. 0.7. Benny's is slower than Tom's. So if you look at the actual lap times, Mokimix is quicker than Benny and is matching Tom. If you look at the lap chart, it's, I don't know. So I don't get half this stuff. I'm learning. Nice overview there. As Tom is actually coming into the pits, so forget about the notice overview. I think he's clipped the wall on the way in, so that might be a bit of damage for Tom. That might cost him. Well, now bit of time, it seems. 19 seconds now. Tom gets his tyres changed. Fuel's now going in. Benny's coming around the final corner. Will Tom be able to get away before Benny goes past? Tom is out of the pits. Benny is going past now, and I think it's Tom ahead of Benny now by 2 seconds almost. They've switched positions almost. I mean, it's 1.4 seconds between Benny and Tom. Tom has the fresher tyres, but Benny doesn't quite have the pace either, so Tom may have got this one won despite what happened at the start of Black November. It looks like Tom may have got this one, but Benny on this first lap will be very quicker than Tom. In terms of Black November, 6 or same. We're all 24 seconds, 15 seconds, 3.5, and then it's 17 seconds to Benny from Mocking Weeks. Benny, I don't think he has the pace. I mean, 6 odds keeping up with him. And Tom's got away a little bit, 2 seconds now. So Tom might have got this one won, and he will win the championship today if it carries on like this. If we look at people's fastest laps, 6 odds has actually been a good lap. 22.7. That's not too bad. It's second off the fastest of Tom, but that's decent from him. It's just mistakes that have cost him, it seems. Black November, his pace has been a bit average, but him, Dory, and I think Alvo as well have put into that bracket. And then you've got 6 Saws, Raoul, Mocking Weeks, Benny. I mean, Benny's is 22.5, and 6 Saws is 0.7, so it's not that bad. Right over Tom winning by 2.5 seconds to Benny now. Looks like 6 Saws has either pit or made a mistake. He may have pit, actually. I think he may have made a mistake. I mean, he's lost about 3 seconds by November, so that would make sense. Yeah, I think he's made a mistake somewhere. But November's in 6th, Dory's in 5th. There isn't really any battles going on. I mean, the closest battle we've got on track is Raoul and Mocking Weeks. It looks like Raoul's closing in a little bit on Mocking Weeks, but nothing that threatening. So, for the rest of this race, it's going to be a bit... It's threatening to be a bit of a ball fest. I mean, last week was over-exciting, I'd say. It's fair to say, but this today it doesn't seem to be that exciting. It looks like Tom's got this one won from Benny. Mocking Weeks 3rd, Raoul 4th, Dory 5th, Black November 6th, Sig in 7th. It'd be interesting to look at the constructors actually. I haven't looked at them yet. So the constructors 86, 73, but if we're looking at the teams championship, Benny will get 8 points per second. So 8, 6, 5. So 13. So they'll gain 3 points on the fast drivers, which will bring it down to 10 points with 2 rounds to go. It's a bit of a hard ask if all it turns up for the last 2 rounds, but it's entirely possible for the Triple team. And the AC Racing guys will be gaining on the AS Racing guys. No Boom 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 guys. Fanta with Black November will go on points with Boom Boom Boom, but Boom 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 will stay in 5th. Dory Racing will get some points as well. They'll get 4 points, and that'll put them on 6. Another still engineering haven't turned up this season yet. With CYP, who doesn't look like it's turned up this season. I'm getting tired. But it looks like Tom's pulled the gap 2.5 seconds to Benny. That's quite a safe gap with 8 laps to go basically. Mocking Weeks is half a second clear of Raoul. It's actually Raoul. I misinterpreted that. I've just woken up here. It was Raoul who's looking to actually make the move on Mocking Weeks, and he looks like. I mean, I think Raoul may have taken him out. I'm not sure. Quite confused. Mocking Weeks, the middle is rear. I'm presuming he's been taken out actually. Looking at his rear end. Interesting. Interesting to see if he goes to stewards without Mocking Weeks. And that's allowing Dory to make amends for this. and getting up into 4th place, which would be an amazing result for Gr.3. Black November, will they be able to make something of this? Not with that gap. 59 seconds to over a minute to Sigsaw. 45 seconds to Mockingbirds. Should be a bit less actually. But Mockingbirds should, despite the damage, he's got a lot of damage on his car, but could he catch Dory in 7 laps? Be interesting. And then there'll probably be a Struding car in that one. We're yet to see. I've just noticed that Benny is now 19 seconds behind Tom, when it was 2. Did Benny stop again? I'm so confused. I think I missed something. I've been too busy looking at my phone, looking for like, yeah, because I'm like, oh yeah, this race is done, but it's never done. It's 20 seconds now. I mean, I think he made pit again because he saw the gap and just thought, you know, I'm not going to get Tom. Try pit again, get some new tyres and go again. Unless he binned it and pit again. Is there any damage on the car? That's the best way to find out, because you can see damage still. Doesn't look any damage. Looks fine for me. A bit of an onboard shot. Raoul, Dory's 11 seconds clear of Mockingbirds. It looks like Dory's on for 4th place here. It's going quite nicely in the Subaru. Jigsaw's getting lapped again. By Mockingbirds this time. And Raoul is actually closing a little bit on his teammate. So it might be all German podium looking at it. So it hasn't been a good day for the English drivers. Mockingbirds was on for a 3rd, a clear 3rd, and then it just went to crap. So the British drivers have flopped. The 3 British drivers and the 3 German drivers have come to the service, really. I mean, Mockingbirds talked about bottling it. In turn 1, I think he did actually bottle it, and that may have cost him. But the Raoul de Baba incident, I didn't get a really clear view on it. From what I saw, it looked like a lot of lag. But I think from in-game, it may have been Mockingbirds going into the back of him. Mockingbirds going to the back of him. Raoul going to the back of him. Now looking at the race, lap 26, we've got Tom 1st, Benny 2nd, Raoul 3rd, Dory Italian in 4th, Mockingbirds 5th, Black November will be very disappointing in 6th, and Sig in 7th. I wish I could talk about something here, but the best we've got to talk about is Sig running wide here. There isn't really a lot to talk about in this race. There's nothing to do with strategy. I don't think Tom will pit with 4 laps to go. I think he'll just cruise it to the end. Benny 7 seconds clear of his teammate. I don't think that's going to close. Mockingbirds can't. I don't think that'll close on Dory, who's done a fantastic job himself, staying out of trouble, except for the Black November incident where that was no fault of his own. Yeah, if you look at the live timing, you know, fastest laps, Benny did a 0.9 in fact, so he's got the pace. He's just so far back. He's now 25 seconds. He's made another mistake at some point in this race. Come on. it didn't sound very good from the live timing, did it? Monkey Weeks is starting to close in of Dory a bit. We set fastest lap, I think, fastest sector there. So Dory might come under a little bit of trouble if he carries on like this. Monkey Weeks, it's come down to 10.8, 10.7. It's coming down all the time, in fact, in this little section here. So it'll be interesting to see if Monkey Weeks can make a move on Dory. I mean, it's coming down a lot. It's gone down like a second in that little bit of section. So it'll be interesting to see if Monkey Weeks can actually get fourth back. I'm presuming there'll be some sort of a steward inquiry between Raoul and Monkey Weeks. At some point in this race. But it's down, it's going to be under 10 seconds in a minute. With 4 laps to go, he needs to catch about 2 seconds a lap. It's really coming down. That is really coming down. I don't know where Monkey Mix has found some pace or something, but he's going fastest lap of the race, fastest lap of the race. Dory is going to come under a bit of pressure, I think, to keep his 4th place. I think he may be feeling it. Black November's too far back. I think Skig's speed up. I think he's on the verge of getting lapped by Black November, so the best battle on the field at the minute is... Oh, we've got 2 battles! We've got battles! I can't believe it. It's all happening. We've got Raoul and Benny. Benny's made another mistake, and because of this, Raoul is closed right up to the back of his chopper teammate. And this is for pride, rather than anything else. Raoul's getting a lot of lag there. It's almost too hard to follow. But we're going to leave the Monkey Mix battle, see if it closes down a bit later on. Does he set the fastest lap of the race? 22.5. But we're going to get back to Raoul and Benny for 2nd place. It won't really mean too much. But if they come together, then Dory and Monkey Mix may be in this little bit of a fight. But we'll have to wait and see. The chopper team will be just hoping, just bring it home. Don't do anything rash. That's what they'll be hoping for. But it's down to half a second. Raoul de Baba's car looks battered. Benny's looked battered as Raoul has gone so far wide, and that has gifted his teammate, and that's probably the end of that. It's gone over 4 seconds now, and I don't think Raoul was that much quicker than his teammate. So we're going to get back to the Dory battle. As soon as an overtake's about to happen, there's a mistake, and it just costs them. But we'll keep an eye on that gap. Obviously with 3 laps to go, anything can happen. 2 laps to go now. Dory's looks like he's got it covered. I'm not gonna lie. As you can see, him now. 7 seconds clear with 2 laps to go. He needs to catch 4 seconds a lap. That looks a bit much. Dory would have to make a massive mistake. Is Skig left? Or is he just so far back he's not on the list anymore? He might have left it for the 3rd race, which would be unfortunate because it means we won't get no points and he won't get the reverse grid pole next week. I can't find it. The Black Novembers, they made a mistake, I think. But it looks like that Monkey Mix is putting the hammer down. And going to put Dory under a bit of pressure. If he can get it under like 2 or 3 seconds with the last lap to go, then I think, yeah, it could happen, but I don't see it happening. Meanwhile, Tom is on the final lap of the race, well clear of anybody. Benny's going through the last corner while he's going through the middle, going into the middle sector. Yeah, Raoul looks too far back to make anything happen. Monkey Mix is starting to make a real move on Dory. He needs to really get it. He needs to really start putting pressure on him. Pressure Dory into a mistake, and then when Dory makes a mistake, pounce. But it doesn't look like. I think it just might be just a bit too much for Monkey Mix to get that 4th place away from Dory at the minute. We're looking at Raoul. Just gained a little bit on his teammate on this last lap, but we're going to keep an eye on our race winner, our champion. He's deserved champion. He was very strong at the end of last season when Oleg won, But now we've got 2 champions in the team of the fast delivery drivers as Tom comes around the final corner to win the British Grand Prix and the championship. Well done, Tom. Well deserved. And that's his 6th race win of the season of 8. So he's really dominated this season. The only 2 other race winners were Benny and... Actually, he's won 5. That's a lie. Wait. Yeah, he won 5, that would make sense. The only other 3 race winners were Nene, Benny, and... Well, Nene, myself, Benny, and F1J. Talking about Benny, he's going to come home just about, actually. There's only 2.4 seconds between Benny and the Wilder Baba, and it looks like Benny's binned it over the line. But it's 2nd place Benny. You can only think what could have been there. Raul 3rd. He should be happy with that, but there's still a steward inquiry to go to see what happens with him. Dory will come over the line in 4th. He'll be extremely happy, the Italian. Best finish of the season after getting his first points last week. Mucky Mixer probably could have gotten Dory if he'd had to set the early pace. And was quite unfortunate, to be honest, in the end. And then we had Black November in last, in 6th. He was just trundling around. And I think 6 may have finished the race. No, he actually left the actual race, so that means he didn't finish. So if we get the race results up, 6 he's on the actual results screen, so yeah. So it'd be interesting to see what people thought of that incident. I think Mucky Mix and Benny, Mucky Mix's congratulations to our champion for the season. Very well done to him. He well deserved it. Oleg didn't really put up much of a defence this season. I think he missed a couple of races. He's had problems. Didn't quite get the pace. I don't think anyone could have matched Tom this season. Tom was unbelievably fast and unbelievably consistent. Definitely the best on the grid this season. And I've got an invitation from November Junior, but I'm not going to do that. But if I'm going to judge that race, it's quite a boring one, to be honest. There's a little bit of hype, a bit of some battles, but they didn't really get going. Really, just like they either overtook. There was no real battle involved. They either overtook them easily. I think the only move I thought, wow, that's really good, that is when Benny went right round the outside of Black November Junior early on in the race. But yeah, so as you can see, Muck and Mix, it was not like Raul, because I'd presume it was. If it wasn't, I thought it meant I had a 10-second penalty in the first round for nothing. That might have accumulated to why Benny ended up with Tom. But Tom is the champion today. With 2 rounds to go. There's still 2 rounds to go. I'm hoping some great battles next week. This week wasn't particularly great, I'm not going to lie to you. Not sure what happened. So Muckamies don't really know what happened at the start either, but I'm sure there'll be some sort of inquiry into all this. Next week is the Nürburgring Nordschleife. If there wasn't a battle here, I'm not really expecting one at Nordschleife, to be honest. But we'll see, we might be surprised. There might be some great battles. But I'm going to end the stream here, guys. Thank you everyone who's watched the stream. Well done to Tom on the championship win. You did an amazing job this season, and I'm hoping you'll stick around for next season. But if the rumours are true, that won't be the case. But thank you everybody who's watched, and until next time, I'm 907. And we're out.